and welcome back to my channel. My name is Stasha and I'm a canine behaviorist and search and rescue dog trainer. Today I'm going to be talking to you about the most important thing that you can do for your puppy. I have a lot of clients get new puppies and ask me, what are some of the things that I can do for this puppy to make it the most well-rounded, versatile, well-behaved dog possible? There are a lot of things that you can do to help your puppy become the dog that you want. But a lot of people, unfortunately, forget about one very, very important aspect of dog training. And this aspect, if not dealt with at a young age, will make the difference between the well-rounded social dog that you want, who listens to you in all different types of environments, and the nervy, anxious, distracted dog that a lot of people unfortunately end up with. So, I have a 13-week-old Belgian Tervuren, and lately I've been thinking a lot about puppy raising. Not to mention, I know several people who have recently gotten new puppies and have started doing a lot of different things with them, right? So, typically when people get new puppies, they focus on things like obedience training and potty training and, correcting negative behaviors or undesirable behaviors. And there is one thing that, in my opinion, is the most important aspect of puppy raising that a lot of people forget about. So at this point, you probably are wondering, okay, what is this super great thing that I can do to make my puppy into an amazing adult dog? It's very simple. The most important thing that you need to work on with your puppy is confidence. Now, you might be thinking, well, what about all this other stuff, right? Like, if I have a puppy who's obedient, why does it necessarily need to be confident, right? Doesn't confidence equate to dominance? In all those things, or those questions, the answer is no. A confident puppy that turns into a confident dog is one who doesn't feel the need to prove itself. It's the one who can go to a variety of different environments and still focus on you, its handler, right? So I specialize in working dogs, all different types, sport dogs, detection dogs, search dogs, and for those dogs to be able to effectively do their jobs, they need to be confident, and they need to be confident in all different places. When you get a new puppy, you have until 16 weeks of age to really optimize the critical window of socialization. And all that means is up until 16 weeks of age, your puppy's brain is developing very rapidly, and it is at the perfect point to start taking in a lot of information about the world around it, experiences, what to expect when it exhibits certain behaviors. How safe are things? After 16 weeks, unfortunately, this window closes. Now, you can still socialize your dog. You can socialize them their whole life, right? Which I recommend. But until 16 weeks, you have a limited amount of time to get as much positive exposure in as many different places with as many different things as possible. If you optimize that window of development, you can end up with a dog who can go anywhere and is focused and confident and not worried about what's going on around it, which is what everybody ultimately wants. It's a dog that doesn't feel the need to prove itself to other dogs or people or anything. It's a dog who doesn't spooky bark every single person who walks by, right? It's a dog who isn't jumping at everything or growling or hiding behind its handler. A confident dog is a dog that you can take in any direction that you want. So you might be wondering at this point, okay, confidence is obviously very important. So what do I do with my new puppy to make it confident? In my field, we call this working on environmentals, which basically means trying to create an environmentally stable dog. And for a dog to be environmentally stable, obviously this has a lot to do with its temperament. But at its core, it's how comfortable does the dog feel with the world around it, right? Which ultimately comes down to confidence. So when I have a new puppy, I take that puppy everywhere. For the first 16 weeks especially, that puppy, as long as the weather permits, it's not too hot in your car, it's okay outside, I will take that puppy everywhere. Put it in its crate, put it in your car, right? When you go to the gas station, take it out and let it go to the bathroom. Give it a couple of treats, right? Let it sniff. Let it learn that the world around it is safe. You can also take your dogs into a lot of places like Lowe's, Home Depot typically will allow dogs. PetSmart is another example. Anywhere downtown outside, there's a lot of dog-friendly places. Even some cafes will let you go in and drink a coffee with your dog. Now, one thing that I caution against when you go to these places is giving your puppy maybe a little bit too much freedom to just interact with anything and everything. Because these places are dog-friendly, there are a lot of people who bring their dogs in who maybe aren't well socialized. Now, the key when you're trying to create a confident puppy is making sure that all of its experiences are positive. Because confidence comes with feeling safe, feeling comfortable, right? So if you take your dog to Lowe's or puppy to Lowe's with the best of intention and it gets into a fight with a maybe non-socialized dog, or PetSmart is a great example of this, that happens not all the time, but it can happen there as well because you're in close proximity with dogs you don't know. Fight breaks out and your puppy gets injured. Now you have a problem to work through for the rest of your life. So when you're taking your puppy out or you're deciding where to take your puppy out, it's very, very important that you can control your environment to as much an extent that you can keep your puppy safe if someone who means to hurt it or another dog that could potentially be risky comes close, right? That could even mean picking your puppy up and walking out of there. Do not feel like you have to let your puppy interact with everything around it. I actually prefer not letting my puppy interact with everything, right? I want a dog who ultimately is pretty neutral to other stimuli, so it focuses on me. Now, you have to let your puppies interact with stuff naturally, but just bear in mind that any interaction they have needs to be positive. This is how you create confidence. Now, some other things that you can do is get your puppy walking on different surfaces, right? Walking up and down rocks or wood piles or slippery surfaces or as many different surfaces as you can. Even putting down a bunch of crinkled newspapers or plastic crunchy wrap or something that makes noise and having your puppy walk over it, making it a fun game, giving them treats, that helps build confidence. It's all about exposing them to as many things as possible and making it fun. I typically don't start really focusing on obedience with my dogs until they are several months old. And you might be thinking, oh my God, how do you live with them? It's easy. When dogs get older, their attention span gets better. And so they pick up on stuff usually a little bit more quickly. Now, I do obedience all the time, so it makes my life easier, makes things go a little faster, but I know that I have plenty of time to work on obedience. I only have a certain amount of time to work on building confidence. So, to kind of recap what we've talked about, confidence in your adult dog is going to mean the difference between a dog who can exist comfortably in society and a dog who can't. A lot of behavioral problems that I see in adult dogs stem from things such as insecurity or feeling threatened or feeling uncomfortable in a certain environment or around certain triggers. if those dogs had the opportunity to build up confidence and interaction with those stimuli when they were younger, they probably wouldn't have the behavioral problems they do today. Now, a lot of behavioral problems can be resolved, but it takes a long time when they're an adult, or it can take a long time, and you have to relearn all of that. It is so much easier to just take the time to do it when they're little and really focus on it. And then as they get older, then start to work on the other things. One other thing that I want to mention when it comes to building confidence, and a lot of people make this mistake, is your home environment is huge. So a lot of people will let their puppies just run free in the house. And then they're surprised when the puppy starts tearing things up or ruining stuff or, peeing on the floor. And so they respond by yelling or taking things away from the puppy or correcting it. Puppies don't know better. They're babies. Expectations are set gradually through time. Your puppy does not automatically know what you want it to do and which behaviors are acceptable. When I have puppies, I puppy-proof my house, and then I keep them in an exercise pen until they're old enough that they can kind of be more trusted outside of those boundaries. People use baby gates, but that way your puppy is not having the chance to do things you don't want it to do, and so you don't need to correct them. So they still feel safe around you, right? They have things to chew on in there that you give them. And although you might be slightly restricting where they go in your house, isn't it worth it to have a confident dog? Eventually they'll be mature enough where they gain that freedom. But when they're little, would you let a human child just roam around your house without putting stuff away? No, probably not. Because they probably would destroy stuff. It's going to be the same with your puppies, except they're even a little more destructive sometimes. Maybe. So, I guess the point that I'm trying to make is you have time for your obedience. You have time to work on correcting your dog for things you don't want it to do, or whatever. You only have a certain amount of time to really build confidence in your dog's developmental period. So, take them out. Let them explore. Let them find their independence. Let them figure out who they are and what the world's about, and then worry about everything after. If you liked the video you saw today, please like and subscribe to my channel to see more videos. I try to have them out at least once a week. Don't always get there, but I will be posting more out soon. Thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful day.